Ever go to book a flight you've taken a dozen times and poof, it's gone? It's not just you. Behind every disappearing flight is a billion-dollar mystery, a mix of data, demand, and cold, hard business. Today, we're diving into the secret science of why your favorite flight might just vanish from the map.
You ever go to book a flight you've taken a dozen times and poof, it's just gone? It's not just you. This happens all the time. Today, we're going to dig into the secret science behind why your favorite flight might just disappear from the map.
So let's kick things off with a perfect example, a story of one specific route. It started with a ton of hope and fanfare, but then, just a few years later, it quietly got the axe. And believe me, this is the perfect way to understand how these huge, multi-million-dollar decisions actually get made.
Okay, check this out. On one side, you have March 2021. American Airlines is all excited, announcing this brand new nonstop flight. Then you look at the other side. Fast forward to October 2025, and that same route is getting axed. Permanently. I mean, talk about a dramatic turnaround, right?
So what on earth happened in just 4 years? How does a route that looked so promising, with daily flights and everything, just get completely wiped off the map? Well, that's exactly what we're about to unpack.
And this timeline, it really lays out just how fast everything fell apart. So 2021, it kicks off with daily service. Awesome start. But then, boom, by early 2025, it's already been knocked down to just a seasonal thing. The very last flight is in August, and by October, it's officially game over. Gone. That is a seriously quick downfall.
All right, to really get this, we've got to zoom out a little from just this one route. See, for an airline, every single one of those lines on its map, it's not just about getting you from point A to point B. Nope, it's a massive, complicated business calculation. It's all about solving the profitability puzzle.
And at the heart of that puzzle is this one key idea: route profitability. It sounds fancy, but it's actually pretty simple. Does the cash you make from selling tickets cover all the costs of actually flying the plane? We're talking fuel, crew, everything. If that answer is no for too long, yeah, that route is on the chopping block. So you can think of airlines as constantly juggling these four big pillars. First up, demand. Are there enough people, especially those high-paying business travelers, who want to fly this route? Then, costs. Fuel is the biggie, of course, but you've got crew pay, airport fees, it all adds up and fast. Third, equipment. Are you using the right plane for the job? Because flying a half-empty 777 is just burning money. And last but not least, competition. Who else is in the game, and what are they charging?
Now, this chart right here tells you everything you need to know about the pressure these guys are under. Just follow that green line. That's Americans' revenue. And look at that nosedive in 2020 and 2021. I mean, the whole industry got hammered. And even though they bounced back, they are still saddled with a ton of debt. What does that mean? It means there is absolutely zero tolerance for a route that isn't pulling its weight. Every single flight has to earn its keep.
Which brings us right back to that official statement from the airline. You know, that very carefully worded phrase, a continuous evaluation of our network. Let's be real, that's just corporate speak for exactly what we've been discussing. They crunched the numbers, and the Dallas to Eugene route, well, it just didn't make the cut.
Okay, so let's dig into what this evaluation really looks like in the real world. Because, and this is important, the Dallas-Eugene cancellation, it's not some one-off thing. Oh no, it is part of a much, much bigger strategy that's always in motion.
You really have to get this. Airlines are always right-sizing their networks. It's a constant shuffle. They're taking planes, pilots, and all those resources from routes that are underperforming and shifting them over to places where they think they can make more money. It's a non-stop balancing act.
And this table, wow, it really drives the point home. We're not just talking about little puddle jumper flights here. Look at this. We're talking major hubs: Chicago, New York, Philly, losing direct flights to awesome European cities like Berlin, Venice, even London. And this is just a tiny snapshot. American has axed more than 24 transatlantic routes since 2015. The message is clear: no route is safe if it's not making money.
You know, this quote here from Simple Flying just hits the nail on the head. Airlines can crunch all the data they want, run all the fancy models, but at the end of the day, launching a new route is basically a big experiment. It's trial and error. You have to actually put planes in the air to see if people will buy the tickets. And in the case of Dallas to Eugene, well, the 4-year experiment was over, and the results were in. It was a no-go.
All right, so we get the cold, hard business side of things. But what about you? What happens when it's your flight that gets cut? Let's switch gears and talk about what this means for you, the passenger, and what you can actually do about it.
I mean, it is so frustrating, right? You get that dreaded email. Your flight has been canceled, the one you booked months ago. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. You have rights, and you definitely have options.
So, thanks to the Department of Transportation, it boils down to two main choices. First, the airline will try to rebook you. That's their go-to. It might be on another of their flights, maybe with a layover you didn't want. But, and this is the part you really need to remember, you can also just say no thanks and get a full cash refund. I'm talking actual money back to your credit card, not some flight credit you have to use later.
So if you decide you want that money back, here's the playbook. The first thing to do is check the airline's app. Sometimes you can get it done in like 2 clicks. But if that doesn't work, don't even bother waiting on hold for hours. Go straight to their website and look for the refunds page. You're going to need your ticket number. That's the long 13-digit number from your email. Usually starts with 001 for American. Just plug that in, fill out the form, and you're good to go.
So we've covered the why and the what to do. But this whole game is about to change, big time. And it's all because of something we're creating every single second of every day: data. So let's peek into the future and see how these flight routes are going to be decided from now on.
You know, for decades, the way airlines planned routes was pretty simple. They just looked at where people were already flying. But they're finally realizing that's a flawed way of looking at things. It's incomplete. The next wave of route planning is going to go so much deeper than that.
This is where it's all heading. The decision to launch a new flight won't just be based on who's searching for tickets. No, it's going to be about understanding the entire trip. We're talking where you're spending money on hotels, what restaurants you're eating at, even what shows you're seeing.
So let's just break down the difference here. The old way? It's all about historical booking data. But that kind of creates a chicken and egg problem, right? People can only book flights that exist. The new way, with these powerful analytics, can see the real journey. Think about it. They can see if 10,000 people are flying into, say, City A, but then immediately rent a car and drive 2 hours to City B. The old data totally misses that. The new data sees that and thinks, wait a minute, that's a huge, untapped market for a direct flight to City B. And all of this leaves us with a really big question for the future, doesn't it? As this data revolution gives airlines this incredibly clear window into our lives, our travel habits, our spending power, everything, what happens next? Are we going to get this super efficient system with flights going exactly where we want to go, when we want to go? Or is it just going to give them more power to figure out the absolute maximum price we're willing to pay? Definitely something to chew on the next time you're searching for a flight.
So next time that flight you loved just disappears, remember, it's not personal. It's math, money, and data deciding your destination. The skies might feel infinite, but the routes, they're anything but. And all of this leaves us with a really big question for the future. As this data revolution gives airlines a crystal clear window into our lives, our travel habits, our spending power, everything. What happens next? Are we going to get a super efficient system with flights going exactly where we want? Or is it just going to give them more power to figure out the absolute maximum price we're willing to pay?